Hey, welcome back to Right on the Money, your go-to resource for the financial topics that matter to you. Now, if you're just joining us, our guest today, Davey, Bales, Mark Anglin of Bales Financial Group. But we've been talking about retirement, and one of the things I want to talk about, on your website, you've got 5 simple steps to a successful retirement. In fact, this is what's great. When I went to commercial, I said 5 steps. These are 5 simple steps. That makes it even better. But let's talk a little bit about this booklet that people can get by going on the website. And one of the things I like about it, as we know going into retirement, it is crucial to take a look at assets, take that inventory. Speaking of that, how often do you run into, Davey, I'll ask you this, how often do you run into folks that have 401ks everywhere? Because I know people jump jobs a lot these days. That's got to be an issue, isn't it?
Yeah, we see a lot of that. We see people that come in, they've got 3 or 4 401ks at different locations and different custodians, and they just simply want to sometimes just merge all that into one. We have seen people that have 14 different accounts or 15 different accounts, and so people want simplicity. I think in the climate that we're in today, they just want clear communication. They want to be able to touch base with whoever they're working with.
Sure.
And one of the things that we look at as far as our planning are expenses. And I tell people all the time, it's not our job to put you on a budget, but it is our job to understand what do your expenses look like, because we need to tailor-make a plan that's going to last you with those expenses and inflation and different things that come up in the retirement world.
That is a perfect segue. I'm going to show it again, because that's one of the steps in here is taking a look at a budget in retirement. Mark, do you find folks open to that conversation? Is it something that's a little hard for them? Because I imagine a lot of folks don't have necessarily a budget before, took a hard look at it. Are they amenable to that?
It's really interesting that how many people come in and they'll actually have a spreadsheet.
Oh, really?
And have their expenses laid out, and it makes it very simple.
Good.
Then there's those that don't want to know, it's just one of those things that we've got to take it on a case-by-case scenario, and we can help those folks that already have a good idea. We can help them hone things down, trim fat where it needs to be, but it helps us with a much more clear definition of, hey, this is a great starting point. We got to tweak this. We got to make this happen. Or, hey, you're actually doing pretty good. Let's keep on track. Because not everybody's broken, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's real beneficial. Makes our life easier when they do have that spreadsheet and have a good grip on their budget.
So working with folks that are doing well. I imagine from the investment side, I'm going to throw it both ways here, but the investment side, it's a whole different conversation on, there are those folks where maybe you need to get more out of a portfolio, and those folks where you can look to take risk off the table a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the unique thing about our firm is every plan is different, and it really just depends on what your goals and aspirations are. We do not do a approach where we're going to put everybody in the same investments, the same portfolio.
Sure.
It really depends on what you're trying to achieve, whether that be income driven, whether that be growth driven, whether that be dividend driven. So it really just depends on what you're looking for out of your portfolio.
When you're working with folks on their investments in that area, we won't get into, we're not going to get into positions, but do you work in, I imagine you all work in all facets of available options that are out there, everything from those items that would be less risky, maybe the annuity world, all the way to you're out there in the funds and the stocks?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the benefits that you have with working with Bales Financial is the flexibility that we have access to. I mean, we have virtually, and I say virtually because not everything we have access to, or nor does everyone. There's proprietary products out there, but we have access to virtually any investment option under the sun. So that, in my opinion, that's why we really thrive on being independent fiduciaries, because I feel we can truly give our clients what's going to work best for their portfolio and not throw that cookie cutter approach or, have some sort of a eyes behind the curtain saying, well, if I put them in this proprietary product that only we can sell, we're going to get a little more on the back end, right? So when I see that from these other firms, big wirehouses and whatnot, I got to question that fiduciary standard. You know?
So speaking of that, so you dropped the fiduciary word. For those folks that aren't familiar with it, give us the Mark definition.
So here's the definition of fiduciary. Simply put, we are going to do what's in the client's best interest, not ours, right? It's always got to be about them. And certain times there's conflicts of interest. You got to expose that and let folks know. But it's truly about doing what's in their best interest. And the way that Davey and I operate, it gives us peace of mind at night to know that we're doing it that way.
Davey, it sounds to me like transparency.
Absolutely, and to take that even a step further, being an independent fiduciary is like even another level above a fiduciary, because we represent multitudes of companies and carriers. So when we're talking to a client, we're not trying to pigeonhole them into one particular arena over another. And so we really are trying to place them in the best products or investments that will suit their needs.
And you know, the thing for those folks that don't necessarily know or are from our world, this is not a marketing tagline, right? This is a legal responsibility, legal obligation. Cool. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I've got one more area. We're not going to give away all 5 of the simple steps to a successful retirement, because then why would you want to get it? I want you to go out to the website, right here across the bottom, get your copy, and then of course talk to these guys too. But I want to talk to you about one of the items in here. It's a little personal for me too. So you do not want to miss that. We'll see you on the other side of the break.